Hi, this is Garrison Comstock back with you now in 2021. Congratulations, we all made it. Welcome. We have these stats now for the end of the year last year, and this is your South Bay housing market update. Garrison Comstock here with Garrison Team Real Estate. Let's get right into it. So I'm going to share my screen, and then I will go into present mode here. You know the deal. So the South Bay statistics look similar to the way they've looked the past few months. Nothing's really changed and everything was expected. You'll see here that new listings were down 100 units in the South Bay. That's normal. Many times homeowners decide not to sell between Thanksgiving and Christmas because they don't want to show their property through the holidays. Now, we already had a low amount of inventory. If you've been in the market looking for properties, you know there's not much to choose from. And so because of the low amount of properties that came for sale in December, we now have a month supply of 1.6. And that's a ridiculous, ridiculous low number. We don't have enough homes to sell. If you're looking to sell your home or you're thinking about selling your home, right now is a fantastic time to do so because you're the only game in town. If you price your home right, there are tons of people trying to buy homes right now that can't find homes to buy. So month supply, I'll tell you that generally a 5 to 6 months of inventory is a healthy market. We've been under that level for 6 or 7 years now. December is the worst that it gets during the year. So we expect that number to increase now in January and February, but we'll track it. We'll track it next month. So please like and subscribe if you want to see next month's as well. Percentage list price over 100%. That's been pretty normal. We had 100% in November. So it means most places are selling over list price. Some of you might think that that means property values are becoming overinflated or pick your term, something unsustainable. But in reality, many of us agents have been listing properties under the value we know they'll sell at as a marketing tactic in order to get as many butts in the seats, get as many people through the door, because you can't fall in love with a house if you don't see it. So knowing that there's tons of it, there's no inventory out there and there's tons of demand, you price it a little bit less than you know it'll sell for, and then it ends up selling over asking. So don't be afraid. Know going in, get with a good realtor. They'll have an idea of what the selling value is of that property, and you'll know going in where you should end up when it comes to purchasing a property in the area you want. Median days on market hasn't changed. If a property is priced right and it's nice, it sells quickly. 10 days on market is the median. Half of the properties sell in less than 10 days these days. So, if it's priced right, it'll go. So I want to take this opportunity to kind of look back at the year we just had in 2020. It's an interesting year to look back on because there was so much in the air in March. So many clients called me, asked me about the market, about where it was headed when March hit, when April hit. I was calling clients, talking, trying to educate everyone, and I was sharing slides like these early on this year about where I thought the market would go and what I thought would happen based upon statistics. I don't have a crystal ball, but based upon what had happened in the past, I gave my opinion on where I thought we would go. Some of these slides, these are old slides. These are what I showed in March and April. Many were trying to compare in the media this particular crisis that we had in March to the housing crisis of 2008. And those two things are fundamentally different. So I was trying to explain that. As you can see, in the 6 years leading up to the housing crash, there was a lot more price appreciation. And if you go down to the bottom left, there was also a lot more equity being used in terms of over financing properties to purchase other properties. There was over 800 billion taken out in the 3 years prior versus recently there was only 250 billion taken out. Why that's important is the bottom right down there. You can see that 42.1% of homeowners at the start of this had a free and clear house nationwide. That's an amazing number. It's almost 50% of homeowners had a free and clear house. That means when tough times hit, homeowners were protected. Equity was protected. It's a great thing to be a homeowner because you have that equity. And when interest rates are really low because the market's not doing so great, you can pull out some of that equity and help keep yourself safe during some tough times. So you even saw that basically almost 60% have at least 60% equity. So there's a lot of housing saved a lot of people this year. I also want to stress that I put this on my Instagram. I also put this in multiple of my videos. I was trying to show everyone that 2008 is kind of an outlier. Generally, as we headed into the recession, generally when we go into recessions, real estate does well. 3 out of the last 5 recessions, real estate had done well. I expected it to do well again because 2008 was different. That was housing backed. That was the whole reason we went into that recession, was because of housing. So it was kind of an outlier. Look at it on this graph. It's definitely an outlier. I had many conversations in March with potential buyers, hoping that 2008 would happen again. Obviously, we don't hope that, but prices are getting expensive here in the South Bay. And even so, even if something like that happened again, we were on the low side of that here in the South Bay. We didn't. That's the nationwide average is 19.7%. But that was places like Phoenix got hurt really bad. Places like Vegas got hurt really bad. We were on the other side of that, bringing that average up. But in general, now you look at what happened this year. We saw an increase in 7.3% appreciation. So once again, 2008 was kind of an outlier when it comes to recessions and what happens to housing generally during recession. Housing does well. I predicted that. We saw that. Thank goodness. Housing actually helps the economy continue this year. Here's a visual on how equity saved people. Nationwide, there's a $17,000 gain in equity. You can see we had the last slide back. Nope, that's not what I want. Hold on. Two slides ago, present. So 2 slides ago, you could see 42.1%. Now, 38.2%. So some homeowners dipped into their equity to help them out. And we had a lot of purchases as well. So that's why that went down. A lot of purchases, 5% down, 10% down, 20% down. Obviously, they're not free and clear. Many folks have been leveraging themselves this year because $1 million is the cheapest $1 million we've ever seen this year. Interest rates are the lowest they've ever been. We hit 16 new lows in 2020 in terms of interest rates. It's crazy. So you can see that year-over-year equity gains. Here's California. We're 34K. We're the second highest year-over-year equity gains. And I would argue it's even more than that on average here in the South Bay because prices are higher than the average in California. So homeowners were able to use their equity if they needed it. And if they didn't, they gained more equity during this last year we had. Being a homeowner is fantastic. So there's so many benefits, including tax benefits. If you have any questions about those, reach out. I'll let you know. I'd love to explain all the benefits of homeownership in terms of taxes as well. So this is the 2021 home price forecast. Now, no matter who you are, we're all forecasting that home prices continue to appreciate in 2021. Some are more bullish than others. Me personally, I fall on the left side of this chart, the more bullish version, because we have a lot of home buyers that I've met on the fence last year, in a holding pattern is a term I heard a lot, waiting to see what happens with the market. Now, we're not coming out of this, obviously we're still in it, but the vaccine's coming out. We've been living this way of life for almost a year. Many folks are becoming more comfortable, and I believe that many of those folks who were on the fence last year will now get off the fence because interest rates are still low and we don't know how long that will remain. So I believe we'll have more buyers this year than we had last year, and inventory will remain steady where it is, which is low. So I think we're going to have a similar appreciation as last year, this year, And this is a great graph to look at because unemployment was crazy there in March and April, and it's still really bad. But you can see next to a graph of what happened in 2008, where it took 9 years to get back to previous levels. And where we are right now, just under 7%, it took 6 years to get back to that level. We've recovered, not completely, obviously, but many are back to work. Many companies have pivoted. Many folks are working from home. 7% unemployment is still too much, but as you can see, it's projected that in the next year or two, we'll be back to the levels we had. 3 years for the Fed, and the Wall Street Journal has 5 years. But either way, we got back on our feet pretty darn quickly. And then most folks project that unemployment will continue to go down over the next couple of years. So overall, 2020 was a crazy year. It was a long year. Real estate helped the economy. It helped buoy homeowners who needed it. When they had their equity, they were able to tap into it. Interest rates are low. Many were able to purchase. And we continue that to move forward into this year as well. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. My friends, families, and colleagues, the best compliment I could ever receive is a referral from you. I would love to help out your friends, family, and colleagues, so please send them over. Also, if you're new, if you have any questions, you can reach me at garrison@soldbygarrison.com. You can also reach me on Facebook and Instagram at soldbygarrison. I look forward to speaking with you. Hope you have a great day and a great year.